Mina the Hollower is a game that's seemingly designed specifically to make me go ooh. It is a Zelda and Castlevania flavored dish, seasoned with so many secrets to find it's like a deliciously thick layer of cheese right on top. And it's not the cheap gummy stuff either. You don't need to hump every wall going until you find the fake one. There's always a subtle hint pointing you in the right direction. So subtle that you'll sometimes only really notice it after you've already found the secret and then feel like a right dumbass. But when you break into someone's house and notice their attic is hiding a bunch of loot, figuring out how to get there is a real treat. You can see there's some kind of an entrance to the top right, but you cannot reach it from the inside. So you explore the outskirts of the house and lo and behold, there's a gap in the neighbor's balcony that you can sling through. And voila, you're inside. It's a very short little sequence, but it's clever, it's satisfying, and it also gives you a heart attack once a clown abomination suddenly materializes from the hell dimension. Just look at this thing. I mean, what's not to love? But let's rewind back for a second. I mentioned that Mina is inspired by Zelda and Castlevania, so how much of that DNA is really here? Well, let's just say you don't need a maternity test, because right from the very start, Mina displays its roots proudly. Before you even know what the controls are, the game will stuff a whip in your hands, give you throwing axes powered by booze, and send you out to devastate the local countryside where people seem to love hiding food inside walls. The game really isn't joking about being a Mousevania. Your attacks are very slow and very deliberate, but they pack one hell of a punch. So the fights aren't just about standing still and trading blows until someone cries for their mommy. They're more about positioning and timing, and occasionally just cheesing a nasty elite without them being able to touch you. And if you don't think that's Castlevania enough, I wasn't joking about the throwing axes. Mina has a variety of sidearms that require jewels, aka MP, to fire, and all of them do weird and funky things that your normal weapons simply cannot. So if you're ever in trouble, you always have a portable black hole generator in your back pocket. Just don't rattle it. We should also address the elephant in the room here. Mina is an absolutely gorgeous game. It's got that crunchy Game Boy Color style that feels so very, very nostalgic. And it must have been an absolute pain to create because the game isn't lazy with its visuals. There's a ton of cute details everywhere. In fact, it's so cuddly that I actually got blindsided when I realized that the game is actually quite brutal. I just jumped down a ledge in the starter area and got instantly spanked by a bunch of roided out dudes wearing heavy armor. But at the same time, Mina is not unfair, because when I came back, better prepared and with vengeance in my eyes, I ended up being the one doing the paddling. Mina thankfully fits in that very enjoyable difficulty category of challenging but fair. If you give the enemies the respect they deserve, even if they are disgusting ooze monsters, you'll have a great time. And nowhere is this more apparent than with the bosses. They'll throw a million attacks at you, but then, after every barrage, they'll strike a pose to assert dominance. That's where you can then run up to them and shove a whip right down their nose. It's honestly a fun little song and dance. You'll probably get destroyed the first time or two while you still figure out the rhythm of the fight, but then you can come back and return the favor with interest. And I really like that kind of design, which is why I had to do a bit of a shocked Pikachu face when I reached the mid-game and realized the difficulty curve completely flipped around. After picking up some honestly kind of ridiculous upgrades that gave me plus 25% armor, plus 25% health, and a whole bunch of other stuff, I basically couldn't die anymore. It wasn't until the very final stretch of the game that I had to finally stop with my tried and tested strategy of parry swords by headbutting them. But is this a big issue? Honestly, probably not. And it's probably even my fault since I obsessively explored everything, which meant I could just crush bosses under the sheer weight of my bulging sack of money. So if you play more casually, there is a good chance the difficulty curve might feel a lot more natural. But if you're not in the mood for whipping people, there's also 4 other weapons to torment small woodland animals with. All of them have unique movesets and change up the gameplay in a very significant way. For example, if you pick up the hammer, you'll lose the safety of the whip's range, but you'll gain big bonkin' damage and the ability to do Dark Souls rolls around enemies while yelling "Get good." The hammer is also why I like to believe that Mina is called the Hollower. Not because she's a mouse and because she digs holes. No, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's actually because she can hollow out someone's skull in a single hammer swing. Now that there takes some serious commitment, especially given the size difference. Now you might be thinking I'm making Mina out to be oddly heartless here, and you're not wrong, she is ruthless. She is straight up willing to break into an orphanage, smash all of their presents, and even steal all of their bed bones. I don't even know what those are, but I am sure stealing them will emotionally devastate the kids and set them up for a life of crime and misery. Which, sucks for them, but this is how you get your level up juice. Instead of using souls or cold hard cash, Mina prefers to get boned. And when you get enough, you'll be able to upgrade your defense or damage. They're powerful upgrades, though not exactly the most exciting ones. But thankfully, the trinkets you can equip more than make up for it. They have all sorts of fun abilities like tunneling through walls or becoming the Lord of Flies. And so collecting them became a sort of a side quest for me, which is why I spend so much time wandering through the semi-open world. And while it's not a true Metroidvania, Mina's zones are all heavily interconnected and stuffed to the brim with all sorts of shortcuts. So much so that you'll find yourself spending 15 minutes exploring a really cool looking new area, only to then realize you've actually gone through here 5 hours before, just in the opposite direction, and that you are, indeed, a dumbass. But honestly, I really like that. Not being a dumbass, but rather the world feeling like an actual world, where finding a new shortcut or unlocking a new travel option genuinely feels like it matters. And since the early game difficulty is fairly high, being able to just wander off and go slap birds somewhere else is great. It's certainly a much better option than just slamming your head against the wall hoping the owner cheaped out on the builders. That same kind of philosophy extends to how Mina treats its main currency, bones. You have safe bones that are safely tucked away in your stash, and unsafe bones that are just kinda rattling in your pockets that you'll drop if you ever die without a spark. Basically, kind of an extra life. It is a system that feels highly punishing, but the game actually gives you ample opportunities to pick your teeth off the ground. And I mean this both literally and figuratively. But the main point is, Mina is never cruel. And because of this, the levels are allowed to be genuinely tricky. They're not just basic combat arenas with random enemies sprinkled in. The vast majority are cleverly designed and make the best use out of the very, very limited mechanics. Because despite everything I've said so far, Mina only has 4 abilities. Smack with a magical item, jump, and dig. That really is all you get. And since the game cannot expect you to pull off miracles with just that, the designers were forced to get creative and make it so each zone, and each subzone within the zone, has a strong theme and its own bag of tricks. So sometimes you'll be stumbling around in the dark, other times you'll be getting head trauma from bouncing around like a lunatic, and sometimes you'll just be doing your damnness to avoid becoming Crocodile Chow. But regardless of what the game throws at you, it is never frustrating since controlling Mina feels just right. Even though you're limited to the 4 cardinal directions, something that does kinda sound unbearable on paper, there was never a moment where I really wanted Mina to star in Rat Shaker 2. The game just feels good to play, which is why I was genuinely delighted to see it's actually a fairly lengthy game. I fully expected this to be a 5 to 6 hour adventure, something very short but very sweet, but no! Mina clocks in at around 20 hours, probably even longer if you try to 100% complete it. And that's on top of a new Game Plus mode waiting for you at the very end. So if having a mouse with people is just your kind of a kink, don't worry, I won't tell anyone, there's plenty of it here. Which brings us to the most important question. Who would I recommend Mina to? Well, if you're at the point of your life where back pain is a serious concern, Mina is going to be a pure blast of nostalgia. But even if you're young enough to use skibbity as a verb, if that's even a thing anymore, this is still a really, really good action exploration game. Perhaps the best endorsement I can offer is that despite being given a review copy and 2 weeks to casually play through it, I finished it in just 4 days. I just couldn't put it down. And considering the whole thing is just $20, if you have even a passing interest in this genre, just get it. It is great fun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing, as that really does help me out a lot, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye!